Wait. Can you hear our children crying? They're calling from all over this land. They're glaring at today's page. Is your Australia fair? Is your Australia fair? So come on! Come rise and shine the rising. Come help us all to cause. Come join your children singing. Let's advance Australia fair. It's time to advance Australia fair. It's time to come rise and join the rising. Come help us all to cause. Come join your children singing. Let's advance Australia fair. It's time to advance Australia fair.
Good evening. Now, before we start, I'm going to bring in my mate Brady Gunn, who is the founder of Stand in the Park. I want to play something because Stand in the Park is all about community, love, support, raising the vibration of the planet.
Can you hear our
But
children
Brady,
crying?
well, how do I stop that? But Brady himself, even though he does all this, is one tough son of a bitch. But how do you portray that? Because he was in the park by himself for weeks, I think even months before people joined him. And after he had his idea for Stand in the Park. But here he gets confronted by the head honcho of New South Wales Police. And I just love how he handles himself. It'll take you back, but have a listen to this. This is Brady Gunn and the New South Wales Police.
So the reason you're being detained, Brad, is that you've got a residential address in Port Macquarie.
That's where I live.
You're staying in temporary accommodation.
Rush Cutters Bay, yeah.
You won't provide us with the address.
Well, I don't feel comfortable giving you that address. No.
Fine.
Yep.
So,
And I don't understand what law I've broken.
In my view, you're breaching the public health order by being away from home. You say you're here to exercise.
Yep.
We can't verify whether you're exercising.
Well, I'm exercising. Look, 5'4".
Within the
3 more.
Because you wouldn't provide us with the address so you're staying at temporary
I don't feel comfortable giving you guys that. I've broken no law, so I don't understand. I don't comply. I'm not.
The public health order. We're going to issue an infringement.
That's not a law. I've been more than cooperative with you guys at every stage. Every stage for the last year. I've always cooperated with you. And now look at what you've done. I hope you dreamed of arresting someone for walking in a park when you graduated. You're hiring a hitman on your own kids, and you're the hitman. And every time I say something like that, you understand, but you just say nothing. Let's throw all these resources. Surely you understand, though, that there's no pandemic.
Well, there is a pandemic.
Well, where is it?
There is a public health order.
So 0 people have died in Australia all year, but that's a pandemic. So you're selling out your own country from underneath itself and arresting the people who are fighting for your kids and your family. And you know it. And I say that and you say nothing. We're all adults here. We seem to be having these kindergarten-style conversations.
There's no kindergarten.
Well, there is, because this is utter ridiculousness.
I've explained to you the reason you're being detained.
Yeah.
The public health order. So it's very simple.
It's not. It's actually, it is actually really simple in its ridiculousness. Absolutely is. You know it too, James Thomas. You can't just look away and bury your head in the sand. It's going to come back to bite you. It's going to come back to bite all of us. And you're the ones, you're a tool for evil. Look at what you're doing, man. All of you guys say nothing every single time because you know it. Selling yourselves out for a short-term paycheck. You're about to watch hundreds and hundreds of millions of people die from the economic fallout of this alone, let alone this ridiculous injection. And everyone's looking at each other going, well, it's not me. Well, it's not him. I'm just following orders. I just need a paycheck. This is a law. That's a law. Nobody knows the fucking law. They're making it up as they go. He doesn't know the law either. He's got kids. He's selling out his kids for nothing. Have you seen anyone dead from a pandemic? No, because no one's died all year. This is crazy. Selling out your own country. It's horrible. Horrible. Everyone always had a lot of respect for you guys, and I did too. I'm a good law-abiding citizen. I'm a good man. Pay taxes, work with kids, help people out, respected what you guys had to do for a job. Now look, you're just losing the entire country of Australia from this behaviour. It's sad. I feel sad for you. And you all know it. One day you're going to wake up, realise that you're on the hit list as well for these guys. You go, oh shit, shouldn't have done that. This is crazy. I'm on your side. Lost 2 businesses over this, and now you're going to find me some more money. Airbnb property's just gone. Vaporised. Lost everything. Rental cars gone. Lost everything. Got women laying in bed at night, crying because they can't feed their kids. Because for what? Exactly. Eight cops and 4 cars for a man walking in a park. Did you ever think you'd see the day? You find it worrying that you guys don't know the law?
Well,
Isn't that concerning?
Very clear.
It's not a law.
You're entitled to ask for your name and address.
And I gave it to you.
And if you won't provide your address, then we can't be satisfied that that kind
I
of
gave,
reasonable excuse.
yeah, well, I feel intimidated by you guys. I gave you my home address under duress.
Well, then,
I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not going to make any crimes. I'm not hurt anybody. I've never hurt anybody.
You've obviously breached it.
Well, you don't know the law. You're enforcing. Is that a law? Answer me that.
The public health order is the law.
No, it's not. So doesn't that concern you? Doesn't that concern you? You don't even know the law. They're just making it up. Masks aren't the law. You're fining people for not wearing a mask. That's not the law. They don't even work. This is insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cops, 4 cars for a man with a fucking smiley face on his jumper walking around in circles. For a pandemic where nobody's dead and the average age of death was 86. The average age of death in Australia is 84. You've been had. If you don't know that, you should probably start figuring it out. All of you. You've been had. And you're the tool for evil. I love you guys. I love everyone. You can't do this to people. It should be very concerning to you what you're being asked to do. And for what? Look, and go hassle some guy on a fucking park bench. Insanity. Utter insanity. And you guys are on the list as well. I want to inject you with this shit. How can walking in a park in fresh air and sunshine be bad for anyone?
Well, explain it to me.
Not very well, because I don't
You're
understand.
required to stay at home unless you're leaving home.
Yeah, but this is where we start looping, because that doesn't mean it makes sense. You've just been told what to do, and you're just doing it without question as a man, as a person, as a spiritual being, with your morals.
Unless you're leaving home.
I'm not a robot. You obviously are.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not, actually. It's horrible. Horrible. And your family's involved. Maybe arrest them. Those two, they're a bit close. For them, very dangerous.
Sorry, who's controls at Warragul VIC? Yes, sir.
Brady, as I told you, my name's Inspector Duffy from Day Street Police Station. You're being executed with an infringement for breaching the public health order, okay? The payment options are on the back and you've got 21 days to pay.
Don't understand.
So I'm giving you another very clear direction now to leave Hyde Park North and return home, okay? If you're saying you're temporary residents in Rushcutter Bay, well, that's fine. But return home and leave the park. Now, if you fail to comply to my direction, you'll be arrested, you'll be taken back to Day Street Police Station, you'll be charged, okay, with the same offence of breaching the public health order.
Don't understand that either. I don't want that. I don't understand. I don't comply with that. I'll take my licence.
Comply with it?
Of course not.
You're getting a direction to leave the park.
I'll leave the park. I'm going. No problem. I don't want that. I don't understand what that is. I've broken no laws.
Here's your infringement.
I don't understand what that is. I've broken no laws.
You've been given a direction to return home.
I'm going.
Okay? There you go. That's fine. We'll leave it on the ground for you.
That's it, sir.
Utter insanity. Utter insanity.
I think the gorgeous thing about that is what he's wearing at the end of it. But I'm going to tell you, as not often in life you meet people who you think this is actually a historical figure, but Brady Gunn is one. And just before I bring him on, I'm going to fuck with him because I recorded this today. So I hope you're listening, Brady. This is from Sean, and it's Susie. Oh. Lucy. Sorry, Lucy and Sean had something to say.
You're a champion, you're a legend, we love you. Thank you for everything that you do and say. I watch your posts on Facebook, you're a cracker. And thank you. Thank God for people like you. Thank God for people like Michael Griffiths. If we didn't have you guys, we'd be bloody lost. And I can never, ever say thank you big enough for what you've done, what you both have done. We love you.
And I'll say something as well. Brady, thank you so much for what you've done. You've created an absolute beast of a organisation. There's not really an organisation, but a following. If you hadn't done what you did back in 2020, I think it was, my life would be very different now. So thank you very much.
And we love you.
Keep going, we love you.
How's that? So that's a Warragul stand in the park, and we did the Kuma on the weekend, and yeah, man, the beauty of stand in the park. I'm telling people, and they agree. It's like a church. It's like our church. It's where we meet Sunday in the park. Yeah.
Lovely words.
I'm still laughing at that video because the beauty of that video is not only is it funny, but it's despairing simultaneously. The pathos of it, you're just laughing and then you're just despairing because you're so right in everything you say. These idiots are just putting it out there, destroying their society. How did you feel after that?
It's almost harder watching it back, to be honest. A lot of this stuff seems even more insane, if that's possible, upon reflection. It's just so utterly removed from any type of reality or common sense that you're almost clutching at air, just thinking this can't be real. But it's a rattling sort of thing. There's a real energy that comes, as most of us know now, real energy that sort of comes with the police. It's a sort of a dark sort of energy that surrounds them, and it's quite an odd energy too. You're sort of looking at fellow human beings that somehow either turn into another sort of being, when they put on that uniform, or they're just a certainly removed sort of kind of person in the beginning, or you're sort of looking at them sort of trying to find a human behind it in situations like that. And especially when it's in such a ridiculous situation like that. So it's all right.
What you were wearing. I mean, you're sitting there, g'day Robert, in that white thing, smiley face.
It's almost.
I'm not a robot. You're a robot.
It's a brilliantly disarming thing. The smiley face. It's kind of really powerfully tongue in cheek.
But there's 8 cops. There's 8 cops for one man with a smiley face. It's just.
Well, and it was really ramping up at that stage as well. They were flying drones over my house. They were following me around. They were listening to my phone calls. And then a week after that, there was a big rally that I'd organised 5 big rallies in Sydney. And then the 6th rally was in a lockdown. And so that was a big one in Sydney where the guy apparently punched the horse. And
Yeah,
and less than a week later, after that, I was in jail and got kicked out of
yeah.
Sydney, and so it
They
was
milked
really
that
ramping up.
punching
But
the
that's
horse like crazy, and he never
oh,
punched it. He was a
I don't know how.
horseman. He knew
I
exactly
don't.
what he was doing. You know.
I have no idea how they got that photo. When I saw it, I thought, "Oh shit, this isn't good." And then I saw the
Yeah.
footage, and she sort of charged at him, and he just went like this. But you see the photo, and the horse's mouth is like out that way, and he's got this gallant look on his face with his arm straight out. How many
Like that
frames per
film. You
second
remember
do
when
you
we were
have to?
growing up, Blazing Saddles? That punched the horse fell over.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man, it's crazy. But look, before we go on, can I just back up a bit? Because all of us watching here know who you are. But for anyone watching this video, let's go back. So it's Sydney, the shit's going down, and then for some reason, you come up with an idea that is now global. But just briefly run through. I know you've been through it a load of times. Briefly run through how the idea came and how lonely it was by trying to realize it. The amount of times, the amount of weeks it took before people started to join you, which is a legendary story.
Yeah, it was August 2020, and the first direct COVID protest had been organised by someone who didn't even live in Sydney. He just named a strange park in Homebush, which is kind of an odd place to do a protest. And so well, it was pretty. Everyone sort of was pretty nervous around that time. It was very uncharted waters for humanity, and we were sort of trying to find ourselves in it, especially when the rest of the world had gone nuts and couldn't see it. And so I sort of remember going down to this protest in Homebush. There must have been 300 people, maybe not even. And I was feeling a bit of trepidation heading down there. And I walked in, and first thing I saw was Michael O'Neill from the Heart Party, or I'm at the time, running around through the crowd being chased by one of these big oompa loompa knuckle dragging friggin' overall wearing guys. And he had this. Anyone who knows Michael O'Neill knows that he's got that sort of cheeky boyish sort of grin about him. So
They
it
were
was
holding him,
just.
and they weren't holding him enough. I've spent a lot of time with Michael. They weren't holding him enough, and he just ran off.
Yeah. That was the first thing I saw, and then it just got even more comical from there. Someone would bang a bongo and they'd get dragged off. Someone would talk into a megaphone, and they get dragged off. I was just, and then eventually we ended up walking around in circles on this field thing, while with all the cops behind us. It was like I just remember standing in the middle of that field, thinking, "What fucking planet am I on? Like, not only
Yeah.
what country am I in? What is going on here? I mean, you could have played
Yeah.
Benny Hill music to that and sped it up, and it was just a comedy. That whole thing." And I remember walking away, and they sort of dispersed us all. And I remember walking away thinking, what a wasted opportunity, in that sort of there was only 200 or 300 of us there, but that was all we had at that stage. And we didn't share any numbers. We didn't get together. We didn't form support networks. We didn't come up with a plan. We didn't know who each other were. We just sort of rocked up and got chased around in circles and left again. And I just mulled over it for a few days and came down from it. It was just every single thing that was happening at that stage was so unreal that it was hard to. It was like the trapdoor fell out of the world one day in February or whatever it was, 2020, and then we were just sort of falling and just trying to figure out how to live in this new world where everyone was fucking nuts and we had nothing to hold on to. And so it was pretty heady times. And then afterwards, I thought. There's sort of a place for this thing where there's no leaders, so that and no one could be arrested, and it would be every week, so that it took no organising, and that it would be less centralised, so they didn't have a one sort of big protest to throw all of their resources at. There'd be no agenda and no religions, so there couldn't be division. So there'd be no sort of religion or common law or vaxxers or anti-vaxxers or new sort of stuff. Not that it was massively divisive, but we were just standing for truth and for freedom rather than against the government and against this and against the mandates. It was going to be a positive thing. It just sort of came to me in one fell swoop. And I remember sort of announcing it on there was a fair few freedom groups on Facebook by that time. It was August 2020, so we'd been in amongst it for sort of 6 months or so. And I had a few vinos that night to sort of get a bit of Dutch courage up. I didn't take it lightly, and just announced it. I just sort of said, "This is what we get. This is a stand in the park. This is why we're doing it, 10 to 11 a.m. So we know where to find each other if the internet goes down or if we want. No leaders, no agenda, all of the stuff. Got to get offline. Got to have these physical energy exchanges. Got to form support networks." It was a multifaceted answer to a lot of the problems that I saw, but it just sort of came to me. I don't remember ever sort of trying to think of it. It just sort of came to me. And announced it on all the freedom groups, and then went in there to Sydney Hyde Park on a Sunday, 10 o'clock, and rocked up and and with my yellow vest on at that stage, and nobody came. I stood there by myself. I think my friend Andrea came that time, and she came a couple of other times, so I wasn't quite alone for all of it, but most of it. And thanks to Andrea for that too. But like that was big for me. And then next week I announced it all again. Drove into Sydney Hyde Park, stood there, nobody came. Next week went home. Went
I don't
home
know why
again
I'm
next week.
laughing, but it's just I just love the
Yeah.
also
Well,
the
it's
way you
pretty
were doing
funny.
the videos as though I hear standing in the park, we're standing in the park. No, you're standing in the park.
Yeah,
We're
yeah. There's
watching
videos.
you, waiting you to get shot.
Yeah, because it's all on video, and there is videos there saying we're all standing here for freedom, and we're standing here for truth, and we're standing for the elderly, and we're standing for our kids. I was the only one there. I just didn't want to look like the dickhead standing in the freaking park by myself. It's, and then next week nobody came. Next week nobody came. Next week nobody came. Nobody came for nearly 3 months. I just drove in there every day, every Sunday, 10 o'clock, and stood there, made sure I was there for the full hour. And I was doing it for me. I didn't really have any agenda. I obviously saw the vision, and I saw what power it could bring. But I didn't I wasn't standing there to start a worldwide movement. I was standing there because I didn't know what to do. And I said to everybody, like, I'm going to stand in the park for my freedom and my truth. If you want to stand for your freedom and your truth, I'll be standing in the park. Come in, we'll stand together. I never was trying to start anything or be the leader
That
of
is
anything.
so
I
beautiful.
was just saying we need to draw our line in the sand and sort of draw energetic sort of pinpoints together.
Yeah.
No matter what, whether our beliefs sort of differ slightly. And yeah, nearly 3 months, and then two people came down. They said to me afterwards, because they came up and I'd be standing there for so long by myself, and they rocked up and I said to them, "Are you here for standing in the park?" I was like a little kid who'd made a friend at kindergarten because I'd been standing there. So, will you be my friend? And then two people, and then another guy
This
came
is
down.
my dream.
And then another guy came down, and then more people came down, and then there was another stand in the park, and then there was 10, and then there was 50, and then
Yeah.
from within about 6 months of that day there was about nearly 1,500 in 40 countries, I think. So it just went
Yeah.
kaboom from there.
Yeah.
And I was just watching it happen. It was just a brilliant thing to just sort of lit itself up and just connected so many people, and it's just done so many amazing things. And I'm truly blessed to have started it, even though I don't take too
No,
much
I think
credit
it was
for it.
extraordinary. And now, of course, you got banned from Sydney. You got arrested or
Yeah,
literally banned from an entire city,
yeah,
which is your
yeah,
home. So
yeah,
it's just,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. They
that-
gave me
I,
24
I
hours to
don't know if
leave.
anyone else in the history of Australia has actually been banned from Sydney, the entire city.
Pretty funny.
Seriously, I wonder if anyone has,
Well,
That's it.
the cops are judge, jury, and executioner with the bail conditions these days.
Yeah.
They really push it hard, and so I've seen it happen a couple of times to people who have been protesting, and they've given them sort of 24 hours to leave Sydney and not return. So, and if you want to get out of jail, you sign the bail conditions. I was lucky because I was actually in the process of leaving when I got arrested. Like that day, I was actually in the process of getting at least some of my stuff out of Sydney. I was going to get out of there, so I probably wouldn't have signed otherwise, but it was still a massive drama. I had to leave my whole house full of furniture there and forfeit the bond and just pack up a van. And I was waiting at the top of the driveway, sort of at the time that I was meant to go, and escorted me.
They
And got bail
escorted you
conditions
out.
of violent. Oh, they didn't escort me all the way to Hornsby, but bail conditions of violent offender I wouldn't have got. I had to report every day. I wasn't allowed to stand in a park. I wasn't allowed to.
You weren't allowed to stand in a
I wasn't allowed to post on social media on a stand in the park and just all these crazy things. Wasn't allowed within 200 kilometres of Sydney, and it's just I was a political prisoner. They had a whole heap of charges
Yeah,
there waiting. There was a whole
yeah.
a whole file of sort of fines and charges waiting for me when I got to the police station. And I massively misjudged it. I knew there was a big target on my back, but because I wasn't sort of taking myself that seriously, I was just a normal guy standing for freedom. I didn't really understand how serious it actually was at that stage, but it was. Um,
Well,
and I'd do it all
you're
again.
you're saying that, but you almost sound like a political prisoner in a world run by the Monty Python.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not allowed to stand in a park. I mean, that's like a Monty Python skit. And
yeah,
yet this is our government and enforced by the police.
yeah.
It's just nuts. Anyway, we've been meeting up a few times over the years now. I've told people I was going around Australia interviewing people. Best way to meet people was to find out who was running Stand in the Park. Every single town we went to had a Stand in the Park. Some had a few, and so especially the bigger cities. So it really prospered. Like everything now, there's a few of them are going quiet, and now so tonight's interview is you're into breathing new life into it. And considering we've got digital ID coming, which means a lot of us might not be going on the internet, maybe there is an absolute need for a Stand in the Park again, for us to come together, you know?
Yeah, just intuitively, I sort of felt like something was brewing back up, and I think it's probably gone through a couple of different incarnations and a few different ups and downs over the five. It's been 5 years. 5 years
Yeah,
ago, I started Stand in the Park, and so it's come and gone and pushed and pulled and waned and flowed and had different sort of representations. I mean, obviously, even though we were standing for truth and for freedom right back in the day, we were still standing against mandates and against lockdowns and against this sort of nasty government stuff. And so there was that, but that's not quite as sort of powerful or as potent as it was. But I really see the importance now in an energetic and spiritual war that we need to continue to maintain a presence, and we need to continue to maintain a face for that presence, and it needs to be
yeah.
global. There needs to be a global face of freedom, of bodies moving, only for even if it's only for an hour a month, and standing in a park. And there's nothing even happens at a stand in the park, but it's the
Well, that's what you're
intention
talking
behind
about,
that. It's
isn't
the
it?
energy moved, and it's the light in the
Yeah.
sand that's drawn by people standing in that park together is really, really powerful, let alone all of the other benefits that are almost coming more into fruition or context now than even was, like with that digital ID at that level, sort of being able to find each other. And it's very important to be offline, very important to have these physical energy exchanges, very
That's
important.
absolutely important. But let's just go back to what you said. So you're suggesting in the future now of making Stand in the Park once a month, if they
It
want.
has
I
been
mean,
for,
that's not law. I mean, if a town is active and wants to do every week, that's great. But you're suggesting making it like a once a month event
oh, we made that about four
nationally or
or 5 months
globally.
ago. We changed it to once a month.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just it was a lot to upkeep for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
we didn't really lose anything. Like you said, people can still stand once a week, and a lot of people are still just standing staunch. They've stood in the middle of the rain on Christmas Day, and I just got
Yeah.
goosebumps. It's just some absolute
Yeah.
legends who just really
Warragul
understand
Group.
the importance of.
The Warragul Group just told me that. They go every single week. They've been going, sometimes low, sometimes more. So, yeah, that was a reason to reach out, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and the relationships that have been formed. The Stand in the Park has saved so many lives.
Yeah, it has.
It was so lonely, and it was so
Yeah.
powerful. And it was, I mean, I used to get not so much obviously anymore, but I used to get messages all the time. Just couldn't be any more powerful. Like just people saying, "I lost my home, I lost my husband, I lost my job, I lost my kids, I lost all my money, I lost all my friends. I was living in a car. I was just about to kill myself. I'm crying as I'm writing this, but a stand in the park has changed my life. I'm getting massive goosebumps now. A stand in the
Yeah, it's
park has
true,
brought
man.
massive change into my life. I've got the best friends I've ever had. They totally got my
Mm,
back. We go bushwalking, and like it just I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. And just couldn't be any
mm,
more powerful messages. I should have kept them all. And that's what it meant. That's what it meant to me as well. All of my best friends now are
mm,
from Stand in the Park, and so many
mm,
initiatives have started from a Stand in the Park, and so
mm.
truly heartwarming.
Well, this is what I'm thinking of how I think it's a beautiful idea because it's, I tell people it's like a church. It's like our church. And I don't mean that we're following any religions, no doctrine, there's no priests. But it's we meet up on the Sunday like they used to do. Every Sunday was meet up to go to church. Now the Sunday once a month is to stand in the park and get our community together, get us all talking, get us healing. A pain shared is a pain halved, and all this, and bouncing ideas off each other. It's a simply beautiful thing, and I do think from when I've been going around Australia that I don't think you'll ever be able to comprehend numbers wise just how many lives you've changed just by going through that difficult period from having the idea to being alone in the park until two people turned up. That was the birthing period, and yet now here we are with this gift.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a part of the reason that it sort of does feel like church to an extent is because I was saying the other day again that freedom is a frequency. It was when you I was especially noticeable when we first found each other at a stand in the park. We'd be there for 5 or 6 hours having these really, really powerful energy exchanges with people that I
Mm.
would never have even spoken to before. I had nothing in common with these people at all. Would never have even met
Yeah,
them. I was walking away from a stand in the park an inch higher because I've just had such enriching, nourishing energy exchanges with these
yeah,
people based on the frequency of freedom.
yeah,
It's almost like the freedom itself is the fuel for that, if you want to call it church or whatever, or what we're all
yeah.
experiencing right now and what we're sharing and what we're sort of communicating in and what we're feeling inside of ourselves is the frequency of freedom. It's this is the great awakening
Mm.
is not just that freedom of that frequency of freedom, but that connection that comes with it. It's
Well, the
really
connection is that,
powerful.
like, even today, we went down. I think we met about 6 of them. You know, they didn't know we were there. A woman happened to see the bus and say, "Oh, you know, I'm from Stand in the Park," and we went to where they met, and a few people where they meet, and then a few people came down, and I did 3 interviews. But just before we left, we're all hugging and deeply hugging, like
Yeah,
really warmly hugging with people I've just met.
yeah,
I've never met these people before. They've shared their stories, but their energy and passion and they're fostering hope just through coming together
yeah.
and
And
talking
a
about
lot of
things
us
that matter,
a
you
lot of
know?
us didn't have that before. This COVID
No.
stuff and all this stuff has brought so much more to my life than it's taken away. It's
Mm.
really crystallized who we are, who everyone else is in relation to us, what's important to us, given us purpose in life. It's given us our best friends. It's really,
Yeah.
I was sort of, wouldn't say I was floundering before, but I wasn't as staunch in my humanity as I am now. And a lot of us,
No,
most
no.
of us could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there, Brades. And one of the guys I interviewed today, Sean, I mean, he's been arrested several times. He actually got fines just this morning or the yesterday for not wearing a mask from 2020. Victoria
Really?
just sent him, yeah, fines for
Wow.
that, 2 fines. But he told me the same. He said, COVID's been the best thing that's happened to me. He's found his stride, he's found his purpose, he's found his passion, he's found friends, and you see it. He was the guy saying hello to you there. He's
Yeah.
glowing. He
Yeah.
had MS. He
Oh,
got
wow.
diagnosed with MS 20 years ago. He's been
Yeah.
on pharmaceutical drugs and all this shit for years. And finally, he threw it all in. And now he says he's just told himself, I've told myself I don't have MS. And
What a
now,
legend.
I know, absolute legend. And here he was, just so bright. Bright is
Yeah.
the word. And there was a few other people there who were shyer, but once him and Lucy started talking and they were inspired to talk, and then suddenly everyone's talking, and that's what you talk about, raising the vibration. You go from this
Yeah.
awkward thing like this, and suddenly everyone's getting in and chat, and everyone has a war story. Everyone has wounds. I told this woman who was, I won't say her name, but she was feeling quite despondent. I said, if you're feeling despondent or disillusioned, that's a war wound. That's what they want you to feel. They're trying to get you to just give in. That's why I loved Lucy so much. Here she is, this feisty little Italian. She's lost everything she used to have. And yet here she is, a bright spark and passionate and wanting to power ahead and ready to try anything. And she's one of us. It's gorgeous,
Yeah.
man.
And,
And
and,
all
and I
this
think most of
from
us
the
are.
flower bed
I
you
think.
created.
Yeah, and I think most of us are. I think at varying degrees, obviously, but I think the truth comes with great responsibility. You can't unsee it
Mm,
once you know it, and you've got to fly the flag of it and keep releasing it when you do. And so I think it took a while for us to just get our bearings because it was so nuts for so long. But now we're sort of standing on at least some sort of foundation and looking around at people who are as well that we can
mm.
rely on. And now it's up to us to keep going with this newfound self, keep going with this crystallized sort of new energy and these
Yeah,
new
I
friends
agree.
and not even in a fighting sort of way. There's no. This is. I think people understanding how this is an energetic war,
Mm,
maybe to varying degrees as well. But all it takes is for us to stand staunch in that truth. You want to call
Yeah.
it we don't comply, then that's in the physical, we don't comply. But using our bodies with intention, with full spirituality, is the same thing, but it's just that energetic intention rather than that physical intention. And that's what's infectious. That's the energetic foundation that we're standing on. And it's up to us to keep continuing to create it. And that's even harder. It's almost easier to fight in a war where you've got to get through that trench over there and there's enemies in it with a different uniform on, and we've got to get over there and then get up that hill and put a flag in it. That's almost easy compared to an enemy
That's
we can't
easy.
see, let alone an enemy that was sort of meant to be on our side and is now our friends and family and ourselves and our heads and have been turned against
Yeah.
us. It's much harder to fight in an energetic war.
Yeah.
There's less to hold
Yeah.
on to, but that's the point.
I think too, what you're doing now organically is you started basically, okay, you started that idea. I started Cafe Lockdown, Hoodie started Hoodie's Heroes, there's Monica Smith, there's all these things started, but they all just sort of blossomed. Some have fallen, some are still growing. But what you're doing now is Stand in the Park, which I think is right for now, is going, okay, you said it today. We're in a 5-year war. It's 5 years now with the resistance, a global resistance against this tyranny, and we're a part of it. And we've been fighting. Now it's time to get, okay, how do we continue to develop and grow, like Stand in the Park? How do we get it now that it becomes, because to me, what I think it offers is the ability of, what's the word? Almost a habit. Oh, it's the first Sunday of the month. I've got to go to Stand in the Park. It gives me some basically structure to my life, because that's what I used to do whenever I'm on the road. If I'm anywhere and it's a Sunday morning, I love going, okay, is there a local Stand in the Park, just to go, But I think this could give it real structure.
Yeah, and globally, I think it's really important globally to link to show this global face for freedom is really important.
Yeah.
And just keep having these energy exchanges. It's a very lonely place online.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of
It
people
is.
are guilty of just wanting to of just sort of getting swamped by it and knowing everything about everything and just getting buried into whatever we see online. And we've got to be very discerning about that for a start. But even if it's utter facts, we've still got to do something about it. You're almost better off knowing nothing about anything and going and standing in a park with intention and showing your face and putting a number to the game than and know nothing about anything than know everything and do nothing. There's no point in
Yeah.
knowing everything and doing nothing. But I think
It's a
one
powerful
thing that
statement.
sort of people seem to understand now too is a stand in the park can look very unassuming. It's pretty simple, and we're just standing in a park, and nothing really happens there. But it's a really powerful thing, and I think people are sort of starting to understand just exactly what it can do in big numbers. Numbers are not the game here. Anyone who's saying we've got to wake everyone up and then we'll be fine is living on another planet. Some people are not waking up, and they're not going to change anything, even if they do. But numbers, it's a numbers game, but numbers are not the game. And I think if everybody that's truly stood for truth and freedom in the world went and stood in a park for an hour a month in a yellow shirt, we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of people all over the world standing about. That would do something in itself.
Yeah,
And
that's what
that's
I
what a
wrote
stand in the
down.
park
That was
does.
my next question. I said, can you imagine or envision? And I think what you said you have. There's this one day a month, all these people come, and basically just by being together, we raise the vibration in every area we're at. And if that got to
Yeah.
millions of people, which is possible, if that got to millions of people, then we really could start changing the world. It's
Yeah,
that
and for
simple.
anybody who said, well, would it, if you're just standing in a park, I would say, well, look at what it's already done. It's just going to amplify what it's already done. And so, yes, it would.
Yeah.
All we've got to do is empower people. You can't lead people. The best leaders lead people to themselves, and you can't open people's heads and put what they need to know in. That you just have to lead them to an
No, that's
opportunity
true.
where they can
I think
grow and where they can connect.
5 years now of trying to hit people over the head with facts, going, come on, it's a war, you got to wake up. It's basically like playing squash again, and you're just hitting a ball against a concrete wall. These
Yeah.
people will wake up when they're ready. And then
Well,
what we have to be is we have to be there for them when they wake up. And then if they know, hey, well, why don't you come down and stand in the park? It's a perfect way. It's like a perfect way to enter our tribe. Come and meet.
Yeah.
You'll be more than welcome. And the different parks are doing different things. You know, the different stand and parks are doing different things, but come down. And I think it's a beautiful induction. It really is, you know, welcome to freedom.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's the most non-threatening thing. It's got no walls in it, so you can escape easily. Like a stand in a cafe
Yeah,
wouldn't have
right.
worked as well.
Yeah.
And it's a safe space down there. There's no leaders, there's no religion, there's no agenda. There's no one trying to get their claws into you and recruit you into these crazy conspiracy theories. You can go down and
Mm.
sniff the edges of it and figure it out. And
The moon doesn't
when you do
exist.
go down there, it's the energy of those people. It's the energy of standing in the park that will wake people up. It's the energy of us. It's our energetic intention that's going to wake people up more than
Yeah.
the facts and more than anything. That's why standing staunch is the only thing we can do, but it's the most powerful thing we can do anyway.
Yeah. I think it's like even today when I'm with them, we ended up being there. I think it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we just see this one woman, or maybe even 7:30, taking a picture of the bus. And we didn't leave till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that wasn't just doing interviews. We did those towards the end. That was just talking, just being together, hanging out. And it's like hanging out with really close family members that you haven't seen in a while. And you're just sitting there talking, and then you're just watching the quieter ones fire up and start talking, and the sharing of pain is a really thing. You know, the sharing that everyone's lost someone or lost people they tried to warn. One woman today, her mother, who was married for 70 years and has all these kids, grandkids, great grandkids, died alone because they wouldn't let the family in to see her because of COVID. So this woman who created this entire community all by herself, and who was a passionate family person, dies alone. And you can, when I recorded that story, when she's telling it, you can feel the pain. And then after she's told it, she gets up, and it's a hug fest. And this is how we heal. We can't change what's happened, but we can heal. Because the one thing that you did, and I was thinking of this today, what they really did to us, and why Stand in the Park was such a defense. This is not blowing just wind up your ass, but it's true. What they said, we'll keep you safe, but the cost of us keeping you safe is your humanity. And you said, nah, if you want to remain human, you want to come and hang out with other humans, come to the park, stand with other human beings, and who do not want to be robots, who do not want to walk around blindly obeying ridiculous bullshit laws or mandates, whatever the hell they were. That's what you did. It was the humanity itself you were defending, and that's what the source of it is. And here we are standing in a park, nothing, just a yellow t-shirt.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't that long before that people would have laughed at you when you told them what you were going to do. You know, I'm going to stand up for humanity. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stand in a park. I'm going to wear a fucking smiley face shirt, man. I'm going to show them who's boss.
Oh,
2
yeah.
months before that, 2 months before COVID, people would have laughed at you.
I wonder if ASIO at one point was listening in going, yeah, you got us really scared, mate. And then now they're going, holy shit. Because that's how powerful an idea spreads. It's like the Forest of the Fallen. One simple artistic idea, and then a few months, I think last year, someone told me there was 150 of them planted all over Australia every month, every weekend. Yeah. You know, we have a community that identifies and replicates ideas effortlessly. I mean, honestly, all these 1,500 stand in the park. So they always contact you going, so in a park, Brady, right? With a yellow, do we wear the smiley face on the front or the back? They don't do that, do they? They just figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
That was the question. But the thing is, this is it. You sort of give people the idea and the tools to fight with peacefully, and they grab them and go to work, you know.
Yeah, and all of the most effective solutions or people have been the most censored as well. They
Yeah,
really still censor me and Stand in the Park heavy. It's almost as heavy as it's ever been in 5 years. And you got to ask yourself why when you're looking at people who are presenting cold hard facts that are blowing the roof off everything, but they let that out. They don't
yeah,
mind that because it's sort of perpetuating the fear and it's keeping people in that hole. But anyone that's either raising a vibe or uniting people, that's the last thing they want. The last thing on the world they want is parks full of smiley faced yellow people every Sunday
yeah.
all over the world, connecting and hugging and smiling.
That's right.
That's the
Spreading
last thing they
ideas,
want, and that's
thinking for themselves.
because it works.
Yeah.
That's why.
The other thing I've been talking about and using you for this, I did it in a speech in Sydney, was you do these great rants. The rants are they're not just hilarious. The works of art almost. But well, they are the works of art. They're so funny and so moving and really make you think. And they get huge amounts of shares. But you're saying that the shares don't get reshared, so the shares end up going nowhere. Is that what you've noticed?
Oh, there's all sorts of shenanigans. When you really see the censorship from this side, it's really quite sobering and it's really noticeable. They just take everything. You can't share it at all, I've seen likes just disappear. There's 1,250 likes, and then you look back and there's 750 comments get taken off all the time. And then anyone can go there. If you click on one of the Stand in the Park posts that have got a lot of shares, click on the shares and you'll see who's shared it publicly. And there's no one has liked those, so it never gets reposted. It's
Mm,
never gets sort of featured on their wall to their friends. Whereas usually, if you post anything about anything, a photo of your dinner will get 3 likes, but you'll see none of them get any likes at all. So,
yeah.
um,
Because
but who knows what?
the reason I was bringing it up was for a solution is to tell people watching. There are so many apps now to get, which are either free or very cheap, and you can download the
Mm,
live. So if you actually downloaded to your phone a rant you like of Braids and then repost it on your socials, the algorithms will let off far more people see it because they'll think, oh, this is a brand new post. And
yeah,
so I'm hoping that will work. So this is what we're telling people now. This is in this war. One thing to learn is how do we download and re-upload videos? And that goes to, like, we've got Donna who started Mantra Moments. She could do the same. Oh, boredom is gone. And and we can do the same. And it's just wherever you do. Like I did it with Kennedy's in a current announcement about how he's cancelling a lot of the mRNA contracts. And I don't think it's plagiarism because we're not here. Don't really worry about the plagiarism. We just need to keep reaching and reaching out to more people and use what social media we can till it fails. But
yeah. Well,
going up
hopefully
now with
people
the
are
digital
doing that.
ID. Well, I hope they do. It's so easy. I do it. But going forward with you now, so we're facing this digital ID. What are your thoughts on this digital ID where we're going to have to do facial recognition to get on the internet to prove that we're not
Oh,
under
look,
16?
anyone that's got any type of tech now is going to be able to get around it really easily. Um, might be as simple as a VPN, or it might be just going through different. You can go through games and do it different ways. I think we're going to see a mass exodus. I think it's going to bite them in the arse more than they think. And
I
I think
do
it's going to have
too.
much bigger backlash. I think everything from now is them digging a deeper and deeper hole.
Mm,
And so this will be the start of the end, even though the start of this was the start of the end for them. They were losing before they'd even started this. But every single thing they do is just going to unite more and more people and push more and more of those people over the edge. And it's just more and more people coming together. It's the farmers next to the anti-vaxxers, next to the next to the cost of livingers, next to the stuff that they've done forced with the indigenous stuff here, next to now the digital ID stuff, and every single thing they do just unites people who never spoke to each other before, and now they're standing on
yeah,
the same platform, aiming it at
yeah,
the same people. But they can't stop this even if they try. It's so
no,
out of control, and so we just need to continue to not comply, even if it's at a cost, and continue to
mm,
welcome people off. We need to stand on the side of this out of control freight train, welcoming people who are jumping off it while it's crashing, and then clean
yeah,
up the pieces or rebuild it once it has. And that could take sort of 10 or 15 years. And so
Yeah,
we're in for a long haul here. But in
yeah.
one way, it's not nearly as bad as it looks either. In another way, yeah, a lot of this stuff is actually going to happen. We can't actually stop it. But in another way, it's not anywhere near as bad as it looks, and it creates a whole lot more than it destroys.
And think of all the
And a
friends
lot of
you're
these
going to
plans,
get.
yeah,
If we really reignite Stand in the Park, and it really does become a monthly event, and as you have been doing it now, but if we can get our people to come and really start doing it once in a month, just like going to church, this is just what we do. Think of the more friends you're gonna find, networks you're gonna create, ideas. I mean, we've been pushing the idea of op shops uh, within our community, setting up op shops. So we're giving back to society, and there's so much of the op shops are corporatized now. I think of an op shop that came out that it was actually opportunity for the customer. I think they could do well, and we could even be employing our aging population in the community going round. So there's been people talking about that. And so when you say it could be 10, 15 years, yes, but maybe it's not going to be just bleak. Maybe there's going to be a lot of growth, personal growth. We're going to discover at ourselves, and we're given a tool to hold us, to get us ready for this 10-year fight or whatever it's going to be, by having now our community church, whatever you want to call it, our community meet, where we meet in the park, rain, hail, or shine, and hang out and
yeah,
just enjoy
absolutely.
our company.
This will continue to bring way more than it takes, and it had to happen anyway. The world wasn't working before. The financial system's been shit for ages. Any society that needs to take a tablet to be happy, and where kids are killing themselves, it wasn't working before COVID. This is just a pimple
No.
popping. It needed changing, and I'm grateful for it, for forcing it, and I'm grateful for everything that's going to continue to happen, because it will just continue to force it and continue to break it, and then we can continue to rebuild it the way it should be. And we've got the tools now. We've got the technology that exists, gives us the tools to rebuild it. We've got the connection that we need. We've got everything that we need. We've never had the transparency that we've got. We've been able to see what these people are doing, and we've never had the alternatives to be able to stop it by just stepping into alternatives. And we've got them now. So it's going to be a rocky road, and not everyone's going to sort of make it through. Anyone who's trying to go back to where we were is in for a
Yeah.
rude shock. We're going
Yeah.
forwards here, and we need to understand what that looks like.
I actually don't think
Yeah.
there's anything back there for us. That's it's just not. It goes against the human nature to go back. You found that when Facebook first came along, and it said you can find your old friends, and so that's what you did on Facebook. You go, oh hey John, how you going? And then after a few comments, you realized, oh, that's why we're not friends. I don't like you.
And now you never see
And
them
so,
anyway. I'm seeing
yeah, that's
someone that I've
right.
never met before way more than I'm seeing any of my friends on Facebook these days.
Yeah, and that was so we were in Cooma. There quite a big group there. But even today, the other beautiful thing, I forgot to say this. Usually, if you get a group together, they're united by a religion, or a love of sport or chess, or I don't know, knitting, or a book club. So there's reasons to be there. But the only thing really holding Stand in the Park is it's more than freedom. It's just a want to be accepted for who you are, almost, and to be free to be who you are. And at these gatherings, it amazes me. Like Lucy used to work in Coles. Uh, Sean used to be in real estate. And these other people that come from all. I was in one in Perth. We had a federal court judge there, and some retired SP bookie, and it's all coming together. That's never happened before, and they're getting on like house on fire.
Yeah.
They're just joined by this love of drop your defenses. We've all been ostracized by everyone else. I'm Michael. How you going? G'day, Michael. And then there we are. It's
Yeah, and
so
I
sweet.
think
It's
I
so
think you're
good.
right. I think this freedom thing that we're all experiencing is just a reflection. It
Mm,
is the opening up of everything that you just described. Of just wanting to be free and simple and connected and non-judgmental and non-divisive um, and human. And freedom is sort of the reflection of that. We're all standing under this freedom banner, but we're all so different and coming from very
yeah.
different places, even morally and religiously. And I mean, we're sort of actually really different people with quite different beliefs when you really break it down, and socioeconomic backgrounds, and different colours and shapes and sizes, but we've all got this shared desire to just live and be together.
Yeah.
And so this quest for freedom is this quest for an internal freedom and an internal peace, and the world is
Yeah.
a reflection for that.
My favorite.
And that's how it has to start. This everybody seems to sort of, and when we do this as humans, you sort of hope that we're just hitting for home runs, and there's this big battle up here, and bloody Trump or someone's going to come and just change everything. There's going to be this big battle, and it's up there, and we're going to defeat it. But this is so insignificant what we're looking at. It's so utterly hot air that it's going that it's going to vaporize into insignificance. And we need to be forming a literally just a grassroots groundswell of humanity that just turns
Yeah.
into a tsunami that just rises up at the same time as that melts in,
Yeah.
piece by piece, blade of grass by blade of grass, toenail by toenail, person by person, conversation by conversation. We will rise,
100%
it
agree.
will fall. There's no big battle going on up here, and it's not above us at all.
No, the battle was always in here.
Yeah.
The battle was always in here, and kind of still is. Even if you're feeling disillusioned, you know that there are ways, even using help from other people, but it's here. That's why little Lucy today, I asked her, she was so bright, and I asked her how does she cope with it. She goes, yeah, I have dull moments, but then I think of the bigger picture, and I just, I get reignited, and I'm back up and I'm firing again. The other beautiful thing about our movement, I remember we got to Adelaide and this Muslim woman came up in the hijab and actually said to me, I'm not allowed to hug men, but I'm hugging you. And she did, and I thought, wow, this is the community. This is really melting divides, because we're so divided. So there's so many things with it. Now, if people want to start a stand in the park or want to know more about stand in the park or find out where it is, I've put the website link in the show notes. But tell us how they can find it.
Just go to the website and you find your local stand, or just contact us. The contact forms down the bottom of the website. Just email a park and a time, and we'll put an announcement out. And then it's up to you to own. There's no leaders in stand in the park, but that doesn't mean that we all shouldn't or can't show leadership. And it's up to all of us to fly the flag of freedom and fly the flag of leadership by promoting a stand in the park and knowing what it's done for other people and sticking with it and putting it up on the community groups, despite what the bots and shills and Karens and Chads say in the comments. You've got to promote it, and the rewards are there. It brings way more. It will bring a lot to your life.
Yeah, and even that smiley face is almost like our it's just such I know it's an old symbol, but it's such a powerful, beautiful symbol. That's why it's hilarious that you're getting accosted by the police wearing it. They're having to look at this smiley face looking at them.
Yeah, and look, you made a good point. I don't know if you're finishing up now, but you made a good point about that's what we're looking for is inside of ourselves, and the peace and freedom that we create in the world, that we're looking to create in the world is when we all find the peace and freedom that we crave inside of ourselves, then the world will reflect that. And that's how Stand in the Park started. I used to say quite often that I didn't start a stand in the park. My intuition stood in that park, and I did a lot of work. And I wrote the book The Art of Shush, and I spent a lot of time and effort and
Where can
pain
they get
getting
that?
out of my on the website as well. It's called The Art of Shush. It's about how I learned how to not think. I was a really unhappy kid and a really unhappy teenager and a really unhappy adult, and then I culminated in a really long depression. I was really bad for 8 years. I sort of thought about killing myself every day, and it got really bad. And then I just trained myself how to not think. And then once I sort of looked at who was thinking and who was looking at who was thinking, then you sort of separate your true self from your old pain and your baggage and your programming. And then the old pain came out a lot for me, and so I did a lot of crying, and it sort of moved quite physically. And then I was sort of standing much more in my intuition, where my head wasn't involved in my decisions. And so if you really want to break it down, from fear of sounding like a wanker or too woo-woo, I was sort of stood in that park. I just followed my intuition. My intuition said stand. If my head got involved, I didn't want to go and stand in that park. I'd have a few drinks to sort of get the courage to do it. And no one wants to stick out there, and no one might have came. And there was a whole heap of head involved. But once that head's gone and we're living in our intuition, that's where the answers are, and that's the peace and freedom that we're creating. And then the world will reflect that when we all do that. And that's the problem with it. When you really think about it, the biggest problem with the world today is we're all living in our heads, whether we're complete and utter globalist
Loneliness.
psychopaths or we're just not doing
Yeah,
anything because we've got worth issues, and everywhere in between. It's the head that gets you. We're perfectly
yeah,
safe in our intuition.
yeah. And loneliness. We've never had more ways to connect with each other than ever before in history, and yet loneliness is off the scale. You know,
Yeah,
it's
crazy, huh?
I saw a picture the other day of which I'd be guilty if I was in it, and it was I think a picture of some bar, and the photographer had removed all the mobile phones. So everyone was just sitting there like this, looking into their hands, you know,
Yes.
and it was haunting. You thought, oh
Yeah.
my God, because everyone's head was down. No one was looking at anybody else,
Yeah.
which is another thing. Yeah. So they
Yeah,
got,
and we really need to combat that. We're all guilty of that. And
yeah, me too.
we all do
Me
it,
too.
and so we really needs a lot of discipline and avenues. We need to create the
Maybe that could be a
opportunities and
thing
the
for
people to
stand in the
step
park.
into.
Leave your phone in the car.
Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe that could be a thing for stand in the park. Leave your phone in the car. Just bring yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. Let ASIO work to record us.
Yeah. Yeah, the LED light poles are up there. She's over there. Fine.
What I can't believe is you've done this show tonight, and every time I meet you, and I'm going to tell a story. So I thought everyone had interviewed Brady Gunn, but very few have. So, if there's any podcasters out there, interview Brady Gunn. We've got to get that story out there. But I was harassing him for ages. Anyway, finally said yes. And when I met him, I remember I said to him, I said, "Oh, I was really hoping you wouldn't be an asshole." I think you said, "Yeah, I was thinking the same about you." And but it was just sat down, and it was just so lovely to talk to a humanitarian. That's what I loved. Not only a humanitarian in thought and spirit, but in action. And yet everyone that's ever for all this joy and healing you've brought to the world, we live in a world where our police force wants to persecute or did persecute you. And the powers that be see you as a threat. And all you're doing is creating an environment where people can talk to each other. That's it.
That's the last thing they want.
Staggering, isn't it?
Joy and happiness and connection and laughter and love is
You,
the prize.
Brady Gunn, stand in the park with his yellow face, is an enemy of the state. You can almost envision a world where, have you seen this man? You know, it's 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 insane. Can I go talk globally now? I know it's in the UK. Where else has it gone globally?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's because it was about 1,500. From what we can tell, it's about 1,100 now. So a lot of them
Yeah,
did start and then wane off. And for anyone who's been down there and they couldn't find anyone, we do apologise. It's really hard to manage. We don't really know what's going on. But they're all over the world. They're in Costa Rica, Mexico, Thailand,
Eureka.
all through Eastern Europe, Germany, France, America. There's about 60 in America, about 50 in the States, New Zealand, everywhere.
If anyone's watching from those countries, get in touch. It'd be really interesting to talk and see,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
uniting them up to see what they're going through and what they're doing with it. Because
yeah. Because
by
we really have
1,500
no
everywhere,
idea.
no, but this is what any businessman is dreaming of. Oh, I've heard of an idea, I've franchised it, I've got 1,500 things around the world. That's like an entrepreneurial dream. And here it is done. And it's done literally organically. It's grown. It shows a huge need in the world for humans. This is what it shows. It shows a huge need for a new form of community, one where you just
Yeah,
accept it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And anyone who wants to buy a shirt or a book, I fully fund to stand in the park, and so it all comes out of my pocket. And so, if you want to buy a shirt, that'd be a big help. And that's why we can't really manage it. There's no organisation here. We get
Yeah.
messages all the time and stuff asking us questions. Like, who's over here? It's just me sitting here in my undies and Fifi in the UK, and there's no business here. There's no organisation here. There's no structure here. It's just literally a collective of individuals. That's it. That's why I don't really know much, and that's why that's why it's such a free for all, is because that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing behind
One
this at all.
serious
It's all up to
question.
you.
One serious question now. Do you have a smiley face on your undies?
Well, no. I was
Well,
trying to think of something smart to say, and I usually can, but no, I can't. Something about the sun shining, or I don't know, but I never got there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. Listen, I'm a massive fan of yours. I'm a mate, but I'm a massive fan. And I really do say what I say. I think this is long. I do believe we've won. I wrote a piece when we were in Epic, when I was in Epic, on the Saturday morning or I wrote a piece the day we won. And what I said in there was, it's just going to take the other side a long time to realize they've lost. And so we've got to keep the fight up. And I think that's an even longer fight than what any of us conceived of initially. So, and in that, hopefully other people will rise up with other great ideas too, and doing things like that. But I personally believe, in this country at least, you were the first one to actually to plant the seeds of our community. And I think it's great that you're restarting it, because I think we need to reinvigorate our community, to get it going, to come back, not to come back to learn about common law, not to come back to figure out what to do, the police arrest you, come back to realize how beautiful we are. When we're together, we have this beautiful vibration. We are something to behold, and we glow. I know, I've seen it in Epic, I've seen it around with other groups. They glow. And that is what our brothers and sisters need. They're going to get lost in the darkness like moths, and we have to have lights and beacons for them to find and come out of the darkness and rejoin humanity. And that's, I think, Stand in the Park is a perfect vehicle for doing that, mate.
Yeah.
How much wind can I blow up your ass in an hour?
I don't know. You keep going if you like. It's getting hot in here. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I agree with everything.
True, this is true, and you get no accolades for it. There is not a Stand in the Park statue to Braids. Instead, we got one of Dan Andrews. That's the world we live in. Dan Andrews gets a statue.
Is that Dan Andrews? I thought that was the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Is that Dan Andrews? Is it?
Yeah, we have a joke that I don't know if it's actually gone up yet. I don't follow the news, but I did see they're talking about it. And but I wanted to have a hollow statue, like a really big statue with a hole on the top of his head and a scaffolding that goes up with a long drop at the top, so we can all work to make the statue anatomically correct. That's what I'd like to do.
That won't last long, that statue, when it gets up.
We should take bets. How long? 10, an hour, 3 days?
It's going to need 24-hour security.
Yeah. Anyway, Braids, thanks for coming on. And I am going to talk to you about something else to do with Stand in the Park in private later, or even just stay on. And but to everyone, if you're out there, if you don't have a yellow shirt, get hold of one or buy one, and to support this great movement, and find out what Sunday that is where we meet up, and let's start meeting up. Let's start let's start basically attacking this disillusionment, which is one of their weapons against us. If we're disillusioned and feel there's no hope, that's how they're beating us. So let's fight back by basically just meeting up, hanging out with each other one Sunday in the month, and refilling our hope tanks. I think there's nothing else. This is what we can do. All down to this gentleman here.
Yeah, very important that we don't get stuck fighting reflections here. Very important.
No. Put those things behind you. You know,
the enemy is not the cops or the left or the right or trans, whatever's. This is an energetic war. There is no physical enemy here at all. Really
No.
important. But yeah, no, it's five-year anniversary on the 7th of September. So should be a big
Wow.
one. Yeah.
That will be a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
All
Okay,
right.
I'm going
Appreciate
to
that.
go out. Stay on the line. I usually go out with a song, but instead I'm going out with this short interview with Lucy, who is the Warragul Stand in the Park person. I think this woman, if we had an outfit of morale officers, Lucy would be in that brigade, because she really brought me up today. So have a listen to this, guys. You're going to poo your pants?
I'm going to poo my pants. Michael wanted me to say it.
Okay, we're in Warragul.
Yes, Warragul.
Warragul.
Great
What's your
place.
name?
Lucy.
Now, Lucy, what were you doing before COVID?
Oh, before COVID, I was working for Woolies here in Warragul, and I was also working at a market for someone, obviously.
Yeah.
And they were all frightened and whatever, and said, "See you later. If you're not going to get the jab, ta-ta." And I thought, well, you know what you can do with your job. I'm not taking it. I don't care. I just thought, no way.
Why no way? What made you think no way?
Oh, there was something deep down. I thought, the government's pushing me to do something I don't want to do. It's my body. Why the fuck do I want to do this? So I thought, no. Lost friends and family. And I thought, oh, well, whatever.
Were you single then, or you're in a
No,
relationship?
I'm still single.
So you're still single. So you didn't have any backup, really. You're just on your own.
Yeah, well, I live with my mum. Yeah, I live with
Did
mum.
she take it?
Oh, yes. I tried to convince her not to, but she did anyway. I think because, fear, the amount of fear and the propaganda, but mainly fear. I don't want to catch it, whatever that was. I don't know.
Sorry, guys. Looks like we had someone screwing with our internet. So Starling kicked us off. So I'm just going to go out. I'm going to have a chat to Braids in a sec. I'm just going to go out with the epic song. And the epic song was the ultimate stand in the park, really. This is maybe it wouldn't have worked if we didn't have these communities like this. So here we go. Let's go out with this. This is a tribute to Epic.
We came down from Darwin with the dust in our veins. We drove across the Nullarbor, driven by change. There were convoys from Melbourne and busloads from Cairns, where we camped at Wodonga and fueled up at Pheasant's Nest. And there were tears of hope singing through our liberated eyes as we scrawled freedom forever across our government's lives, as we scrawled freedom forever across all our government's lives. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that we were still your mates. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that it was not too late. But our country had gone crazy, corrupted by fear. And before us the long path was already flooded with tears. Yet in epic we were dancing, for we knew what we'd done. Together we'd made the birth of all our freedoms. And this new cry for liberty were the smiles in our hugs, as the cops haunted our periphery like tyranny's new thugs. But for one night in Canberra we knew we were aglow, and our luminance was shining like a beacon of hope. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that we were still your mates. And we didn't come to start a war, and we didn't come to hate. Instead we came to remind you that it was not too late. So never forget how, by just being authentic, we drew a deep line in their cold sand, from a showground called epic. So never forget how, by leading the way, we wrote a fresh song of freedom that you can still sing today. So sing like you've never sung before. Sing now like your soul's found its wings. Sing out like an echo through our time, until our grandchildren are born humming our lines. Until our grandchildren are born in the freedom's warm and glorious light. Until our grandchildren are born in the freedom's warm and glorious light.